How far did your in-laws go to force a name on your child? When I gave birth to my twins, I thought the hardest part was over. Two healthy girls after a rough C-section. I was exhausted but happy, holding my babies and calling them by their names, Ava and Isla. We'd picked those names months ago, and my husband loved them just as much as I did. But his mother, Bernice, had other plans. From day one, she made it clear she hated our choices. She wanted boys, not girls. She kept saying things like, girl names don't matter anyway, they'll just change them when they get married. She suggested we name them after her dead brothers instead, James and Robert. We told her no every single time. After the C-section, I was completely wiped out. The medication made me drowsy, and I could barely keep my eyes open. My husband had gone home to grab our hospital bags and some food. That's when Bernice made her move. A nurse came in asking about paperwork, and Bernice jumped up immediately. She told the nurse I was too tired to handle the forms right now, and that she would take care of everything. The nurse looked at me, but I was so out of it from the pain meds that I just nodded. I thought she was helping with insurance stuff or something normal. What I didn't know was that Bernice had brought her own forms. She'd somehow gotten preliminary birth registration paperwork online and filled them out herself. She handed them to the nurse with the names James Robert Thompson and Robert James Thompson written clearly across the top. She told the staff these were the names we'd finally decided on. The nurse took the forms and filed them with the hospital records department. Within hours, those names were forwarded to the Department of Vital Records as our official choices. I didn't find out until the next morning when a different nurse congratulated me on little James and Robert. I thought she was confused about someone else's babies, but when I asked her to check again, she showed me the forms. There it was in black and white. My daughters were officially named after Bernice's dead brothers. I started crying immediately. My husband rushed back to the hospital when I called him sobbing. He found his mother in the waiting room acting like nothing happened. When he confronted her, she just shrugged and said, "Those names would have made them strong. Girl names are temporary anyway." The hospital staff tried to help, but the damage was done. The forms had already been processed and sent to the state. We had to file for a formal name change through the Department of Vital Records, which meant lawyers, fees, and weeks of waiting. We had to prove I hadn't consented to the names. Luckily, several nurses remembered me talking about Ava and Isla during my recovery. They wrote statements confirming I'd never mentioned James or Robert. We also had text messages between me and my husband from months earlier discussing the names we'd chosen. But Bernice wouldn't give up. She called the hospital administration claiming we were making a mistake. She even showed up at our house with a baby book already filled out for James and Robert, complete with family photos and birth announcements she'd made herself. My husband finally snapped when she brought over personalized baby blankets with the wrong names embroidered on them. He told his mother she was banned from seeing the twins until they turned 18. We also filed a police report for identity fraud, though nothing came of it legally. The whole name change process took 6 weeks. 6 weeks of calling my daughters by their real names while their legal documents said something completely different. 6 weeks of explaining to everyone what had happened. 6 weeks of Bernice calling daily to tell us we were ruining those poor children's lives. When we finally got the corrected birth certificates back, I cried with relief. Ava and Isla were officially themselves again. But I wasn't done with Bernice. When the twins turned 1, I had an idea. I threw them a huge birthday party with a custom cake that had their real names written in big pink letters across the top. I took photos of everything: the cake, the decorations, the girls in their matching outfits. Then I mailed Bernice a card with the biggest, brightest photo of that birthday cake. Inside I wrote, "Happy first birthday to Ava and Isla. Still not James and Robert. Love, your granddaughters whose names you'll never change." She never contacted us again after that.